BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Welcome to the Information Man Show. Information. Let's get into some real talk, some real issues that are going on in the real world, like Chicago, Chi-Town. It's time to step away from the usual bullshit on YouTube, the usual unsignificant conversations. Let's get it down. This is what's really happening with black folks in Chicago. I did a video on this before. I'm giving you an update here, and it shall be shocking, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
What's going on, everybody? Peace to you out there. I'm going to get into it today. Hopefully, we get a good audience that comes over. I want to give you some updates on what's going on in Chicago. The last time I did a video in Chicago, we were talking about the migrant situation in Chicago, which has gotten completely out of control. It is crazy what is happening in Chicago, which is a sanctuary city. Let's see, New York has got the same problem right now. Another sanctuary city. San Francisco got issues too. Sanctuary city. And all of them have this one thing in common. They're all Democratic-run cities. Why did the Democrats do this? Why did they make themselves a sanctuary city and not prepare? I found out through research that the city of Chicago didn't do anything to prepare for the potential of an onslaught of migrants or illegals trying to come in and get asylum. They just simply went for the banana in the tailpipe, so to speak. And it's a damn shame. Banana in the tailpipe. How do you make yourself a sanctuary city and you don't prepare for this eventual reality when you know that you've got your Republican-run cities like Texas, Florida, they're going to send them up to you? But why would you not prepare for that? And then why would you not realize that you have a more, I think, important constituents in your black community? Black people have been in Chicago since the very day. If I'm not mistaken, I believe a black man is the one that founded Chicago. Correct me if I'm wrong, for those of you that's in the chat. Alicia, I think you're here in the house. You're from Chicago. Didn't a black man, I don't want to say discover it. You know, you can't discover land that people already own, but wasn't it a black man that was responsible for the foundation of founding the city of Chicago? Black folks have been there ever since. And now you've got migrants that are there that are sucking off on the resources. People are coming in at the thousands. Let me give you a little breakdown before we get deep into the presentation today, I want to give you a little breakdown. As I said before, we can go all the way back to Harold Washington. And Harold Washington did something back in 1985 that was sort of like Sanctuary City before Sanctuary City. But black folks have been here forever. Now, let me know what's black folks have been here. Look at this. You all have seen this classic picture of these black youngsters, got their tight, they got their outfits on, looking tight, looking booted, suited and booted. And back in them days, they would wear hats. Very fashionable. And do you know, ladies and gentlemen, since Brandon Johnson has come in and black folks put him in office, and this started with Lori Lightfish when those folks were telling her not to put these migrants in a facility, a closed down school that they thought was going to be turned into some type of community center for the community. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, we forget that it was Ron Emanuel who worked for Obama in the White House, who brought his raggedy ass to Chicago, where he's from. And y'all, and them black folks in Chicago, I'm not talking about all of you, but you thought that the white man's ICE was better than the black man's ICE because you all put him in office because you felt, well, he's connected to Obama. He's a Democrat and he's connected to the White House. So that means that's going to really benefit Chicago. You didn't get shit out of it. You see, the Democrats treat black people like, remember Charlie, since we're coming up on Halloween, remember Charlie Brown? And let me know in the chat room, everybody that's come in. I see you, Adrian, I see you in there. Breeze, Omega, I see you. Let me know if you can hear my microphone, if it's coming through nice and clear as it should, by putting sevens in the chat room. I appreciate that. It gives me some clarity here, whether I'm on the right track. But let's be really honest here. Ron Emanuel got into office. I think he served 2 terms, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it Ron Emanuel who shut the schools down in Chicago in the first place?
Tell the truth.
Isn't he responsible for shutting down facilities and then they just laid there condemned, never to be used? And then when the migrants get there, all of a sudden, they've got all this resources, money and resources, and they putting folks in hotels when, what is it? About 50% of Chicago, the biggest homeless population in Chicago, and it doesn't give me any pleasure to say this, the biggest homeless population in Chicago.
Tell the truth.
Is black people. How many of you all are aware of that?
Tell the truth.
If you're from Chicago, you know this, but if you're not from Chicago, so what happened to all this love and sensitive understanding? Brandon Johnson, who is now the current mayor, he jumped out the window and told black folks that we have to have sensitivity and understanding. Black folks have had patience for damn near decades after decades. You know how patient black folks have been over these years? Matter of fact, black people, we are the most loving, the most accepting people on this planet. You can go into any black community and you'll see people in that community who don't even look like us, right? Black people, we accept every goddamn body, but not everybody accepts us. So Brandon Johnson's talking about this bullshit about, well, people gonna have to sacrifice. What the hell do black people in Chicago need to sacrifice for? They've already sacrificed, Brandon Johnson. You put the migrants in the police departments and it overran over there.
Tell the truth.
Now you've got schools that were promised to be open for black people, to have schools for their kids. You've got youth centers that they're talking about shutting down and turning into shelters when black folks have been waiting for these programs for their youth for God knows how much time. You need to understand what's going on in Chicago. More than 17,000 migrants have arrived in the city since August 2020. 17,000. Hundreds have protested the city's plan to turn Park Finn House, Field House, the Park Field House. And Alicia, you know this. You might know this place, this Park Field House, into a emergency shelter and locals have sued the city. The city government says it has so far allocated $328 million in aid. Where was the aid to black people? Where was the aid to the citizens that live in Chicago that are struggling, that are poor? Where was the goddamn aid for black folks in particular, who are your biggest homeless population in Chicago? You didn't find $328 million for the black folks who pay taxes, and even those that are homeless at one point in time, they probably were taxpayers before they got homeless. You know, how can you got black folks in Chicago who vote and put these folks in office. These migrants didn't put them in office. These migrants don't vote. These migrants haven't paid any taxes to the city. These migrants don't have any blood and sweat on this soil as black people have. And the reason why I'm making it about black people, because I know there's going to be some goofy person out there the reason why I'm making it about black people is because black people are the only ones, are the main ones that are being pushed upon by this. Now, earlier today, I was listening to some, doing my research, black folks out there in Chicago are saying, why don't you put these migrants over in Lincoln Park? Alicia, let me know. Is Lincoln Park where the well-to-do white folks live at in Chicago? Is that a more, they're putting all these migrants in the South Side? Anything you don't want in what's the old saying? Anything you don't want, you put it in the black community. Okay? Anything you don't want to do, you make black folks do for you. Okay? Anything you don't want in your community, you put it in our community. And black folks didn't even ask for this. And matter of fact, when the city when they were under Mayor Lori Lightfish, Beetlejuice, and now Brandon Johnson portrayed himself as being a different. Guess what? Same bullshit under Brandon Johnson. Most of the black folks in Chicago were not made aware that certain areas in their community that they thought was going to be designated for new school, rebuilding the schools, the buildings as they are into schools, youth centers, that they're not going to happen because they're going to put the migrants in there. You got people in Chicago that's been reporting that these migrants are pissing on buildings. Tell me if I'm lying or not, Alicia. You've got incidents in which people have had run-ins with these migrants where they're getting high on drugs. Chicago already has these social problems already. They didn't need this burden being put down and putting in black communities. There's reports you've got these migrants driving around on bicycles at all times of the night, even though they claim that there's a curfew for them. You've had issues where migrants have pulled out weapons. Oh, yeah. But they don't want to tell you about that. Or what type of diseases that they may have, that all of a sudden the police department is coming down with all types of chicken pox. Can you believe that? Oh, my God.
Tell the truth.
Oh, I've got video footage for you at the town hall meetings, and black folks are showing out and showing up, and they are turning the damn house out and letting these politicians know. And you know how this whole thing goes, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever black folks turn up, then what they do is they get the usual suspects, which is your usual token black politician, to come into the community and let's calm the community. Let's calm. Look. This is what we need you to do, Frazier. We need you to go into the black community because you black, right? Yeah, I am, boss. I am. And we need you to go in there and calm those Negroes down. Tell them what they want to hear, but don't really tell them any goddamn thing.
Tell the truth.
Just what we need them to think and know, right? This is what's going on in the city of Chicago these days with the black community, right? These are little still pictures of Chicago. Beautiful. That's the famous Chicago theater right there. You all have seen it, heard of it. And remember the crisis that's happening in New York. Old Mayor Adams has been trying to get federal money But the so-called Democrats who claim that they care about black people, if you don't vote for me, isn't that what Joe Biden said? If you don't vote for me, wait a minute, y'all. If you don't vote for me, is that what he said, everybody? I'm going to go with my loudspeaker here. Is that what he said, everybody? If you don't vote for me, you ain't black enough. Is that what he said? Or is that what he said? And you've got Clyburn cooning for him. And I'm asking myself, okay, if black people are not black enough, if they don't vote for this fool right here you see on the screen, then what do black people get as fair exchange for this transaction, Joe Sleepy Biden? Because you haven't done anything to help these Democratic-run cities such as Chicago with bringing in federal money to help this situation. And you haven't done a damn thing with what's happening in New York with federal money. But yet, this is a Democratic problem because Democrats are the ones who decided to make these cities sanctuary. And yet, as I said in the previous video, there has been no citizens.
The truth.
No, God damn it, I'm going to tell the damn truth today. There has been no citizens in this United States or United Snakes of America that was allowed to vote on the measure. There was no measure, no ballot measure, no nothing. Why could they turn these cities into sanctuary cities officially and then turn around and make it law or make it the law of the land and nobody got a chance to vote for it? This is some bullshit because the Democrats want these migrants and these other people coming over from South America and Mexico because they think that if they help them, that they'll be loyal voters for the Democratic or the Democratic Party because they know that black people, we're tired of them taking us for granted. They're tired of us. We're tired and we're sick and tired of being tired of the Democratic Party and their bullshit that we've been putting up with for decades. Before I was born, your grandparents had to deal with this bullshit. Your uncles, your grandmas, your aunts had to put up with this bullshit. And they figure we don't need black people anymore. This is why they don't do anything for us. Let's go over here to another minority group, our new Negroes over here that we're going to bring into the country. We're going to give them citizenship, give them a license to drive a damn motor vehicle on the streets. And once they hit us, we can't get no damn money out of them. Give them a permit to get jobs. But what about the homeless black people in Chicago that they haven't done anything for in terms of getting them jobs and training and help? But all of a sudden, there's this old outlash of help for these migrants. And they tell me and you, oh, they're not illegal. What they did is not breaking the law. They came over here and they said, hey, I need asylum. But then the question is, how many of these people are criminals? This is the question I bring to y'all, your attention. How many of these folks do they even know are criminals running from their country? How many of these, you know, are men that have done things to children and women? How many of these guys are connected to the cartels and this is all the front? Huh? They don't know this, but then you put them on the streets of Chicago. Chicago was already a city that's in crisis before they got there. And then you bring this whole flux of people in. You dump them in the black community. Don't tell black people anything. But then what about Lincoln Park? What about the white folks? You're not dumping them over there without having a meeting to tell them what you're going to do, because that shows you the lack of respect that the Democrats, and this ain't a Republican thing because the Democrats run Chicago. And it's a Democrat in the White House who's sent no federal money to assist Chicago in this issue or New York. Yet these, I was about to say it, these policies, these Democratic policies, it's the Democratic policies that are the manifestation of this bullshit. And don't get it twisted. The Republican or the Republican clan ain't no damn better. They ain't worth a $3 bag of fries either. I'm pissed off.
Tell the truth.
Got to laugh to keep from crying. So I want to know how many of you out there agree with some of my diatribe that I just broke off, my dialogue. Put a 7 in the chat room if you're feeling how I'm feeling before I get into these explosive videos that I have. Today is a day of education, a day to observe how black people in Chicago really feel. And I'm going to play these videos, and I cut them nice and short for you. I edit them nice and short for you. You might have seen some of them, maybe not seen any of them. And I want you all, I'm going to put your comments up on the screen. I'm going to read them, and we're going to dialogue as best we can with the time that I have for this program today. Harold Washington is arguably the greatest mayor that Chicago has ever seen. He was for the people. Now, Harold Washington, there was what we call unofficial sanctuary city. I got to be honest. I mean, I love Harold Washington, but we got to be honest about history because Harold Washington did this back in the day in Chicago. We're talking about the beautiful city of Chicago. I don't know how many of you know this. This is an article that, if you can look this up for yourself about Harold Washington in terms of sanctuary city status, has been around since 1985. Chicago history as a self-proclaimed sanctuary city dates back to 1985. I was about 15 or 16 years old back in the day. Some of you in the chat room were not even born or thought of. Omega Dregs Gaming, good to see you over here, brother. The Faith Factor, thank you for coming over. We got Empress Goddess in the house. We got my man, Jonathan Kidd. Always great to see you. Everybody gets a good clap. All right. Let's get to it because the videos are going to really shake you up when I show them to you. So back in the day, in 1985, when Mayor Harold Washington issued an executive order, so this shit has been around, but not like it is today. He issued an executive order prohibiting the city's employees from enforcing federal immigration laws. But since that time, the term sanctuary city, if you get my drift, and more recently, welcoming cities has evolved beyond law enforcement implications as an increased number of migrants, asylum seekers are making their homes in Chicago, and they're dumping them in black communities when black people didn't ask for this. And then the public officials don't even explain to black people what's going on. Where's the security? Who are these people? All these different things. And it's a damn shame. Welcome sitting means for all the residents. Let me also break something else down to you. Remember I told you since 2022, there's been more than 17,000 migrants that have arrived in the city, and it's continuing to increase. They have spent $328 million on people who are not even citizens, people who have not voted, have no real stake in the game, but they have bull-jived us. Let me read this to you, ladies and gentlemen. Chicago residents have expressed fury at the city government for offering shelters to mass influx of asylum seekers as youth football team, which is for the people who are born there, live there, and parents pay taxes there, right? The youth football team is set to kick off their home field to make room for the migrants. So the school, the youth program there, was set to kick off their opening football season. You know, all the things that youth do there. And they said, nah, stop it. Put a scratch on it. Put a scratch on it. Ow! Ain't gonna happen. Sorry. More than 17,000 migrants have arrived, and I had read that. Windy City since August of 2022. More than, check this out. Check this out. More than 10,000 shelters, close to 3,200 staying in police stations, which They have also locked them out of the police station, so they're laying all over the damn place out there. Stations and the O'Hara International Airport in Chicago. Y'all know that if you've been in Chicago. The government says it has so far allocated 320, and I read that already. Check this out. An influx of locals are calling for Mayor Brandon Johnson. Here's a Negro right here. For Brandon Johnson, a Democrat, they're calling him a Democratic criminals. They call them Democrats criminals for their handling of this situation as residents met to discuss the lawsuit filed against the city over its housing of migrants in public buildings. You hear me? Y'all hear me, y'all? Do y'all really hear me? This is what's going on.
Tell the truth.
This is what's really going on. So what's going on, and I'm going to show you the footage, is that
Tell the truth.
black folks are tired of being effing tired in Chicago, and they're filing a lawsuit due to these closures of facilities that are supposed to be meant for the community, that they were supposed to be flourished for the community, and now they're going to turn into shelters for people who have not paid taxes, people who just came here. They were sent here by states like Texas and Florida, where you got those two bastard-ass governors, Santes and that other Babbitt fool, who put these people on a bus and send them up. My question is, why didn't Chicago turn those buses around and send them right back to where they came from? We're not obligated. And why is it that black people in Chicago are being put under this obligation of, you got to be sensitive and understanding, and you got to sacrifice? Black folks have sacrificed enough in this country, and black folks have sacrificed enough in Chicago. It's not our problem. But now you've made it black people's problem when we didn't ask for it in Chicago. And this is coming to a city near you, ladies and gentlemen. You better believe this. If you live in a major city, it's coming to you next. Because you can go down to the border right now and see how things are out of control down there. Now, I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump, but I can say the criminal Donald Trump with 90 indictments on his ass, the criminal did have something that was right. And that is, he did have a right idea when he said, hey, we got to close off those borders. We can't let every Tom, Dick, and Harry just walk up in here. We don't even know them from a Shine to Shalola. We don't know them from a glass of grape Kool-Aid. Now, I'm not a fan of the Republicans, don't get me wrong. But ladies and gentlemen, let me go with I'm going to go with the first few videos. They're short, leading up to the video that I'm going to show you when they had a press conference about this lawsuit and black folks were telling it in Chicago. Let's go over here to the first one. This is one of the aldermen. They have aldermen in Chicago if you're not from Chicago. And here is one of the politicians that they didn't send to, you better go calm those Negroes. And let's hear the nonsense. This is fair use for the purpose of criticism, analysis, critical thinking, news reporting, and parody, baby. This is fair use.
This last Wednesday evening, notifying me that the Lakeshore Hotel was going to be used to house migrants as early as September 5th, and then I heard today it could be as early as Friday. So we'll have folks from the city clarify that information. I found out on Wednesday. I immediately reached out to my team and said we need to have a meeting because there didn't seem to be a plan from the city to notify this community. And so we reached out, put out an invitation for a meeting, and then...
You hear that? He says that there was no plan, or it seemed to be no plan from the city, and these folks have been coming in Chicago since 2022. I just read the numbers to you before. This is a damn shame.
Tell the truth.
Had conversations with a bunch of folks about what was happening in the community. Very limited information. The information I was given goes as follows, and then we'll pivot to the city. The Lakeshore Hotel was previously used as housing for migrants as early as this spring, which is why it was reconsidered now. Again, I was not involved in any conversations, negotiations, or discussions with the owner of the hotel. And that this location is going to serve somewhere around 300 individuals. So with that said, and again, like I said, I got very limited information from the city. So with that said, I'd like to introduce some folks from the city who might be able to answer some of your questions that you have. Those people are Jesus Del Toro, who's from the mayor's office of Immigrants and Refugee Rights, Deputy Chief Stephen Chung from the Chicago Police Department, and then I think we're going to have someone from the Department of Family and Support Services come up. So if we can have, oh, I'm sorry, I'd like to also recognize Alderman Andre Vasquez from the 40th Ward, who is probably the most knowledgeable alderman about what's going on around these crises. Come on. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I know, hold on. I know we all got some real tough feelings about what's going on.
Because I want to.
I'm just asking everybody to have a respectful conversation. Because it's going to be really hard for us to get information if we're not going to be respectful. Okay?
My name is Jesus Del Toro. I'm a policy fellow with the Mayor's Office of Migrant and Refugee Rights. And I've been supporting this work for a year now. Tomorrow will mark the first year of the bus arriving from Texas. And for the past year, over thousands of people have arrived to Chicago with no foundation to the city.
Right.
And
they have no foundation because they're not foundational or they're not from the city. And with that foundation, the question that was asked before, once upon a time, everybody, is why is it
the truth?
Why is it, everybody, that they didn't put these folks who are Spanish speaking, a different culture, why didn't they put them in the communities of people who are Spanish speaking like themselves? That was a question that was asked a long time ago, yet they can't give a frank answer about that. Now, this man represents that community, so I don't understand why he coming to talk to our community when you should be trying to put him in your damn community. Because in your community, you have the language, you have the food, you have the culture. Or at least some levels of the culture, because we know that all people who speak Spanish, whether it be Puerto Rican, Mexican, what have you, they all have different cultures when it comes to Spanish. That's why I say Spanish-speaking people. Well, let's get back to this.
Asked as a city to come together to deal with quite an unprecedented situation. We understand that in the situation of this, informing the community could have been obviously a lot better and sooner.
You see, he's there just to explain the bullshit, but you can hear someone in the background saying, send him back, send him back.
But it's been a matter of lack of beds. As you know, as you can probably see, our police stations have thousands of people staying there. Mm-hmm. And it has not been a situation for our police have tried their best to accommodate.
But this is the thing. Wait a minute. This is what I got to say. My question is, why, ladies and gentlemen, why is it black people's problem? You see, most of the migrants are being dumped in black communities where black people are already having a hard time. So the question is why is it that black people in this country, we're always burdened? It always other people's problems have to become our problems, have to become our issue when we've got our own set of issues. I don't see anyone in his community that jumps out of the window when black people are struggling. You got, look, check it out. You got high black unemployment, high black homelessness, particularly amongst black men. Where has the Latino or the Latinx community been to open up arms to homeless black people in Chicago? You haven't heard about it. They don't talk about it because it ain't happening like that. But now you're asking black people to take in your people, give them shelter, give them love. And when our people are struggling on those streets out there, I don't see your community opening up arms. and they want to tell us that we have a black and brown coalition. That's bullshit. There never has been a black and brown coalition. I want y'all to remember what I just said there. Here is another video. Now, this is an alderman that they don't like, and he's going to talk that Democratic bullshit to you. And remember, the Republicans ain't shit either, folks. Let's keep that in mind. But check this out right here.
We have challenges that we're describing that we know people currently are going through and have been going through that live here and have lived here. That's a reality as well. Right.
Can y'all let him talk?
Yeah,
please?
it's okay. I understand exactly the sentiment. What I am saying to you is we are all in the same city, so we all know that the black community hasn't had that level of investment, hasn't had that support. We have existing people.
Right. So if you know that black people haven't had that level of support, then why in the hell do you throw this situation on black people when you know that black people are already in crisis ourselves in that city? Not all black people, but some black people who fit that criteria. So then why do you come? This is what they do. They bring the black or people who appear to be black or look black to kind of calm the Negroes down, right? Calm the masses down. So if you know that we have not been treated fairly in the city of Chicago, black people that are there, then why do you bring this problem to the feet of black people? I'm going to say it again. Why would you bring this problem in this beautiful city, this beautiful skyline? And I guarantee you, if you go to Chicago, you're not going to see any of these migrants laying all over this area of the skyline where all the top expensive buildings are. That's good for tourism and shit like that, right? You ain't going to see them laid out. Look at these skyscrapers, right? You got the road running right there. Look at this. What is this? Is this Lakeshore Drive? Can somebody break down what this area right here of Chicago is where the cars are driving? I guarantee you ain't going to have any of those migrants laying out on the ground and on the streets of these nice buildings in this skyline. Oh, hell no, you're not. Right? But you bring this problem to the feet of black people and tell us that we got to have humanity. This is bullshit. Nobody brings our problems to the feet of other groups that are struggling and ask those other groups to bend over for us. Now, do they? Hell no. Let's get back to this again.
That also need housing. The reason why I say that, we want to exactly.
Yeah, where's our money?
We know that there have been public buildings that have been taken up. Okay. I'm more than happy to answer.
We cannot have
Right there, what that person was saying in the audience is that it's illegal for them to be here because it violates the laws of our country. But the guy in the the alderman in the fancy little monkey suit was basically saying that technically it's not illegal because if someone comes over here and claims asylum, then we're supposed to take them in. What that tells me, and it should tell you,
Tell
is that
the truth.
It's very simple, folks, that our immigration policies are flawed in this country and need to be fixed. It's broken. It doesn't work. It needs to be redone over. I don't give a damn what political party fix it. It needs to be fixed. I don't care if it's the Republican Klan or the Democrats, but it has to be fixed. It's broken. We cannot allow people to keep coming over here in droves and make up any story they want to be able to stay here. You can't do this in any other country in the world. If I was to go to France or Canada, any of these places and try to squat, they would pick my black ass up and take me right back to America where I come from. Let me remind you, and I should have had the footage for that ready. Let me remind you all. Do you remember when the Haitians were over in Mexico and they went over to, El Paso, Texas? They were under the freeway. It was thousands of Haitians that had migrated from Brazil into South America, into Mexico, to the border. And what did they do to all those Haitians? I talked about this on the last video I did about this issue. They rounded up all those Haitians within 1 week, put them on planes, and took them back. Then you had the footage of the guys on the horses, what looked like to be whips. People were saying, oh, no, it wasn't whips, but they were using the horses and whatever they had in their hand to intimidate them. It looked like slavery all over again. What happened to all those Haitians? They put them on a plane. They took them back. No questions asked. And did anybody from the Latinx community step up? Did anybody from that community or those organizations that help out migrants that come from South America, just like they did, they walked into South America, did anybody go to bat for the Haitians? Did any of these groups, this so-called brown and black coalition, which is a bunch of bullshit, did any of the folks on the brown side say, hey, you can't do that to our black brothers and sisters. We're putting our foot down. Give them asylum. They have the right to stay here. No, they sent them right back to the country they came from originally, which was Haiti. Some of them hadn't even been there for over 10 years because they were the ones who were told that they could come into America. And they went over to Brazil and were working because remember they had the earthquake in Haiti at that time. That's how a lot of them left Haiti. Well, those black folks got rounded up and they're gone. Why is it that these folks can come to Chicago and nobody's talking about rounding them up? And you can't tell me that the Haitians didn't ask for asylum, but the United States government didn't give a damn. And who was the president that this happened under? If I'm not mistaken, who was it? Who was it that this happened under? Come on, folks in the chat room, guess it. Who was it that this happened under? Oh, yes. Sleepy Joe Biden, the man that told black people in America, if you don't vote for him,
Tell the truth.
you ain't black enough. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you in the chat room, Omega Dreads is rocking with me. Where the hell you been, Omega Dreads? I hardly ever see you over here, man. But good to see you. Jonathan Kidd's in the house. Nine Canada. Dee Dee Taylor is in the house here. Old Reliable's in the house. Most one's in the house. Black and Decker Black is in the house 100%. Jones is in the house. Who else? Larry, the creator. Thank you for coming over, Larry, the creator. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming over. Faith Factor as well. Empress Goddess is in the house. Good number of people are coming into the program. You know how I get down over here. I'm going to give you facts. I'm going to give you information that you can definitely chew on. And over here, we don't delve into the bullshit conversation and the bullshit topics. This ain't about black man versus black woman. I don't have time for that tired conversation because you know why? I don't have those problems. So therefore, what I need to talk about them for, I don't have those kind of problems with women. But let's get on the topic, back on the topic here. It was under Sleepy Joe Biden and Kamala Harris who told me and you, oh no, I'm not going to do anything just for black people. Oh no. I tell you, what's going on, O'Shea? The hobbyist gave me the $2 super chat. He says, there will be a Hispanic hate bill soon. Oh, it'll be before us? Well, they gave the Asian community got a anti-Asian hate bill tailored to them, and they don't even vote for the Democratic Party in large numbers the way black people do. You see how they treat us and take us for granted? You damn Skippy, O'Shea. And Keith West is in the house, says, peace and respect, great brother, information man, Snow, salute. Thank you. Most one says, migrants are not bringing problems to the city. I actually talk to the men, women, and children. They want to work and take care of their families. They're legal migrants, and some are black. Okay, yeah, because we have black people that are in South America. I understand that. I understand that completely what you're saying. They want to work, but guess what? This is how I'll checkmate you. What about the black people in Chicago who want to work and they're not creating programs to help them get jobs in Chicago? What about the black people who make up the majority of the homelessness? You had black people that were laying on the streets and have been laying on the streets of Chicago before the migrants got there. Soon as the migrants got there, sir, they found all this money for them. What about the people who live there, who pay the goddamn taxes, and the tax money, the money that you're talking about that's going to go to help them comes out of the black people's pocket that they're not doing shit for right now. And I'm gonna say it again. Nothing wrong with trying to seek a better life, but it ain't black people's problem. It ain't our problem to fund it. It ain't our problem to deal with. We got our own goddamn problems in Chicago and around this country. And first of all, we don't even know who these people are. There's been no screening on what diseases they may have. There's been no screening on what criminal background they may have, sneaking into the country, running away from some crime that they did in their country, and then they come over here and just say, asylum. This is why the law has to be changed, because any person can claim that they need asylum just by saying the damn word when they get to our border, and they may have a criminal background where they did audacity type things. So I get it. They're looking for opportunity, but it should not be on the backs of black folks. And folks, I'm keeping it real. Black people in America, I don't want to hear that bullshit about we're all immigrants. Black people in America, we are the original people of this place, and we're not no damn immigrants. We was here before y'all asses. We was here to build this. We built this country, laid the foundation of this damn land, fought in every war this country had, from the Revolutionary War to the World War I, World War II, every goddamn war. We built this goddamn country. This country was built off of our backs, off of slave labor, off of black people that were enslaved, but wasn't born slave, but were enslaved. And we still haven't gotten our goddamn reparations that this country owes us. So we don't owe nobody nothing. And nobody needs to be riding off our coattails, because you've been riding off our coattails too damn long as it is. And I don't care what anybody thinks about what I just said, because it's the damn truth. Let's get back to this video.
Conversation if we're not being sister.
Take a wrap.
Sister, I understand. Anybody else can go to work.
Yeah.
I'm just asking everybody to be a little bit quiet. I know that this is an emotional subject. Doris, come on. We're just asking, can we just be respectful? Can we be?
I like Doris. Y'all gonna see Doris. She's a feisty sister. I like her. But let me just say this respectfully. I want to say peace and respect to Dee Taylor. Peace and respect to Golden Melanin. Good to see you here. I hope everybody is fine. I hope your health is good. I hope your families are fine. I hope there's nothing bad happening to anybody in their personal life. We should always check in with each other and find out how people are doing. So I hope everybody is well. If anybody in the chat room is having some problems in their life, let us know so that we can put out a prayer for you. Put out those positive vibrations, okay? We got Love to Travel with Wave. It's so good to see you over here. Michael Ross, thank you for being here. Old Reliable's been rocking with me for a long time. Larry the Creator, that's a great name right there for your channel, brother. Dee Taylor, The Faith Factor. She says, black people are going to help them make another baby. You know what? Hey, Faith, you're not too far. Wait a minute now. You're not too far off. Because remember,
Tell the truth.
they said that there was some of the migrants that got pregnated in the police station. They still never gave us full. They said they think they got impregnated by the police, the Chicago police, which doesn't surprise me because they got a lot of alleged, I'm gonna say this again, a lot of alleged corruption going on. You know what I mean? In that police department, I allege this. So that is another thing. You know, the police impregnating and taking advantage of them, right? This whole thing, they should have never made themselves a sanctuary city. They should have allowed the people of Chicago to vote, nay or yay, whether they wanted such a thing. Let's get back.
All I'm asking is for respect. In this room, can we have a respectful discussion? Because as long as we're yelling and as long as we're screaming, and I'll add, I agree with some of y'all. Hold on.
Thank you, Michael Ross, for the $2 $5 super
chat. In this room, we're being respectful.
But you haven't respected us.
In this room,
Michael Ross, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you. Love to travel with Wade for the $3 super chat. Let me go ahead and give you guys some super chat music and celebration, given that you've been very generous, and I appreciate that. Here we go.
Thank you for the super chat.
Tell them run it on. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell them run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it on. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell them run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands. I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage. Now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans. Don't need no friends. I got my homies. Thought I could trust you. I find out you tried to zone me.
Thank you, DD Taylor, for the $9 super chat. Thank you.
The first one in, the last one out. Can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice, and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell them run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I
Ladies and gentlemen, back into effect. Let's get back to it. I like Doris. I wish I could meet this. This woman is bringing the thunder in this meeting. You're going to see more of her. But let's move it back just a little bit and hear her put that thunder out on their asses.
Because as long as we're yelling and as long as we're screaming, and I'll add, I agree with some of y'all. Hold on.
Respected us.
Doris, in this room we're being respectful.
But you haven't respected us.
In this room, then let's not, then we don't need to talk. Then we don't need to talk.
Let me just answer a couple things. It is not illegal for someone to seek asylum when they come to a country. It's not. It's not illegal. It's not. Second, it is an intentional attack on the city of Chicago to get us to be divided. It is why every single day you're seeing 80 to 100 people being sent to the city. Right now, we have over 13,000 people here. We have 6,500 of them in shelters. 1,800 of them are minors. We have about 1,600 at police stations. It is an intentional attack meant to divide people here because they don't want to see a successful Democratic Party.
Boom! You see what kind of garbage and horseshit he's shoving to black people? He goes to the Democratic bullshit, and the Democrats are the responsible party in turning this city into a sanctuary city. You are the responsible party for these poor policies. You are the responsible party who didn't notify black people what was about to take place, how was it going to take place, didn't notify them at all, which is why you're having, this was a meeting that happened a month ago. I'm bringing it all the way up to the video that I'm going to show you for why they're suing these public officials in Chicago. They're suing the city of Chicago. Black folks are tired. But this is what led up to it just a month ago. They were shoving this garbage. And he gets up there and pushes the Democrats up, talking about they're trying to divide us. Of course, it's always about division. We know that. But, they're trying to hurt the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party created this problem. You made yourself a sanctuary city. That's why these Republican governors like Babbitt and DeSantis, that evil bastard in Florida who attacks black history and black literature, he sent them up there because they knew that the Democratic cities wouldn't turn them back because of these dumb policies that you came up with. Let's go back to it.
6,500 of them in shelters. 1,800 of them are minors. We have about 1,600 at police stations. It is an intentional attack meant to divide people here because they don't want to see a successful Democratic Party. They want to see the president reelected. They want to see Chicago look like a disaster.
It is a disaster. It is a disaster right now. You guys created this problem. Lori Lightfish was the mayor before, and black folks told her not to put those migrants in a building that was supposed to be designated for a community center that they were looking forward to, even though the city lied to them. You guys created this part, and you see how he sat up there and said, they don't want us to have a successful, they don't want us. Man, let me put that bullhorn on, shall I? They don't want us
to have a successful Democratic Party, is what he said, ladies and gentlemen. And then he said, and they don't want to see Joe Sleepy Biden get reelected. This ain't about no goddamn Joe Biden. This ain't about no goddamn Democrat. It's about what black people want in Chicago, but he throws out the Democratic bullshit, and the Democrats are the ones that created the problem by making themselves a sanctuary city, which allowed the Republican Klan to send these people up there, and now y'all put them on the backs of black people and say that black people, we gonna have to cooperate and sacrifice as if we haven't sacrificed enough for this bullshit.
You see what I'm saying?
Tell the truth.
Do y'all understand what I'm saying? If y'all feeling what I'm feeling, put those sevens in the chat room. Let it be known. Let's get back to the bullshit.
But what we know is that Chicago, when there's a challenge, steps up. That's what we do here in the city of Chicago.
When there's a challenge in Chicago, Chicago citizens step up. That sounds good. It sounds like a sports crusade. You know, it sounds like some shit you would say for a basketball or football team. You know, when things get tough, we step up. No, brother. Black people, why do black people in Chicago have to step up for a problem that they didn't create, a problem that was dumped on them by the politicians of Chicago, and the politicians of Chicago didn't even give them proper notification of what was going on. They just dumped them on us because it's like anything that you don't want in your community, you dump it on black folks. But you're not taking them over there to, Lincoln Park, where the white folks live at. If I'm correct about that in Chicago, you're not putting them on in the most fluent communities in Chicago where those people can definitely give you some pushback and tell you to get the hell out of here. But you bring them to black folks' communities where black people are already struggling, in some cases, not all, but in some, and you're now saying, y'all got to give a sacrifice for these people. By closing down our schools, or shutting down our youth programs, because you got to make shelters for people who, first of all, we didn't ask for them to be there because nobody voted for that sanctuary bullshit. We don't know who these people are, where they're coming from. They're doing all kind of nasty things out there in Chicago. Wait till you hear some of the people in this meeting that tell you what they're noticing.
All right, look, hey, I thought we were going to have an orderly conversation.
You thought they were going to have an orderly conversation. An orderly conversation. That's what this man says. Wow. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to hear this next video, what this sister's talking about. This is about health, wait a minute, that's not the video I want to play. Let me play this other video first. This brother is going to talk about property tax and how are they going to deal with the property tax when you have this influx of new people coming in. And obviously he's a property owner or homeowner or something of that nature, and he's a little concerned. I'm going to tell you what they told him after he made a very good statement. Check this out. This is fair use for the purpose of educating, critical analysis, news reporting, and parody. Right on.
Going to do anything about parking and congestion from the additional people? Is there going to be any property tax relief for people who moved in one neighborhood and now the neighborhood is changing? And are there going to be additional police patrols, given that there's a lot more residents per square foot, or however you want to do the math? There's going to be more people in the neighborhood.
That make a lot of
sense. What is the plan specifically for parking and congestion? Property tax relief, because it's going to be, we're changing the neighborhood, we're doing something for you, you should be doing something for us, and additional patrols.
Tell the truth.
I think that's one of those questions, and that's the question around property.
Let me tell you what happened. Basically, when he asked one of those aldermen about that, all they had to say to him is, you got to take it up with Cook County. The county in Chicago, Cook County, the assessors and all that stuff. You got to take it up with them. And then the brother ended up walking out. He didn't like the answer because he didn't get an answer. This is leading somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. to the most powerful video coming up, to those two powerful videos coming up. Now, this is the video that I want to show you. This sister said something that really raised the hair on the back of my neck. It made me think, man, she brought up a really good point, because there's a health issue when you have this kind of influx of people and you don't know what the kind of sicknesses that they have, diseases, what they have. And we're just coming out of this whole, that virus thing. And now you got these people laying here, laying there, all over the place. And it becomes a health problem. And what are they doing to do, to do health checkups? She never really got a full answer, but she got some other answers. But let me let you hear this. This is pure craziness.
Because we don't know what the supervision is if you go on Plymouth Court in Van Buren any time of the day. Also, what hasn't been widely broadcasted is that at least 25 officers caught the chickenpox again from the migrants on the 111 station. So who monitors their vaccination?
Boom. Did you hear what she just said, ladies and gentlemen? She said that the officers in Chicago have caught chickenpox again, not the first time, but again, because there are some of these migrants have not been properly vaccinated. Now you're going to have a disease problem on your hand. Did you hear what she just said? Let's play that back for the effect of it all.
Today. Also, what hasn't been widely broadcasted is that at least 25 officers caught the chickenpox again from the migrants on the 111 station. So who monitors their vaccination process, or is that a requirement? Is that something that we need to be concerned with in the area?
Thank you, everybody that's here today.
So all of our shelters have shelter rules. Upon intake, we inform all of the residents of the expectations that we have. Sorry, we have shelter rules that we implement across the sites. Anytime when we do intake with folks, we level with them expectations. We have a shelter schedule. We have a schedule at 6 a.m.
Bullseye is correct. Bullseye is correct. What's going on? Speak, your girl, Marcella. Good to see you. Make sure you check out, there's a bunch of folks in the chat room like Faith Factor, your girl, speaking with your girl, Marcella. There's a bunch of folks in here who have YouTube channels. Write people's names down. What's going on, Beverly Palmer? Good to see you. Dee Dee Taylor. Make sure you write people's names down so that you can check and see if they have YouTube channels and you can subscribe to their channels. But I'm going to let this play. She never answered the question about the shots, for diseases.
Doors open, and by 11 o'clock p.m. we have curfew, and that's implemented across the sites. We do let singles and households know that they need to be in the facility by curfew. If for some reason they don't make it by curfew, depending on the circumstance, that is a curfew violation, and we will follow up with them. If we see two curfew violations, that would lend itself to discharge from the facility. So we also do ask them to be good neighbors. So
she asked the question, one of the people in the audience asked the question that if they violate these rules of the shelter, do you send them back? She never answered that question. And she still didn't answer the question about whether these people are getting a treatment or checkups to see if they carry any type of diseases that could spread all over Chicago. For those of you that are coming in late, this sister who asked the question in this meeting said that there were police officers in Chicago who had got chicken pox, not once, but a second time as it relates to their interaction with some of the migrants. I think that's a very obvious question to ask, because if they're coming over here after walking through South America, so they say, going through the jungles of South America, coming through Mexico or wherever they're coming from, then they could very well have something and should be screened. They should not be, in my opinion, because we don't know who these people are, they really should not be allowed to be able to roam around with the population that already lives there until they are properly screened. If you're going to have these folks running around here, and from what I know, they're out there with backpacks, they're riding on bicycles, and if you haven't properly screened them, you could give people stuff that they never had, or stuff that they've had when they were a kid that will tear you up as an adult.
Tell the truth.
Just a thought, y'all. Let's get back to
Do
this.
ask them to please be mindful of the community that they're in, that they're mindful of the businesses and the folks and residents that have been there and that live there, and that, you know, we do need them to be respectful of the community. If we see issues, we do have residential aids.
Faith Factor, thank you. Faith Factor says, I'm so glad you are talking about this information, man. Faith, you know that I talk about the real issues. I don't get into the goofy stuff that you often hear in this sector of YouTube. You know, over here, we get into what's really going on with black folks in this world. That's my signature stamp over here. Y'all know that. Tell the truth. Thank you, sister, for that comment. Let's go back. I think, what did she say here?
That they're mindful of the businesses and the folks and residents that have been.
All right. So she's basically telling them to be mindful of being a good neighbor and blah, 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 and the businesses. And I get that. But she did not answer the question that sister asked, which was, I'm going to play this one more time, only going to play the part where the sister asked that question about the diseases type factor. Listen to this. For those of you who came in late and didn't hear this part in the beginning, you'll understand why I made this inference.
Today. Also, what hasn't been widely broadcasted is that at least 25 officers caught the chickenpox again from the migrants on the 111 station. So who monitors their vaccination process, or is that a requirement? Is that something that we need?
You see how logical of a question that was? That should be answered. And I don't understand why nobody seemed to want to answer. I'm pissed off. Nobody seems to want to answer.
Tell the truth.
That question. Nobody seems to want to give give a good breakdown of what's really going on. Let's go to the next video that's going to blow you away. This is why I love the sister in Chicago, Doris. I wish I could meet her, because she said what should have been said. She put it where the goats can get it. She put it straight, plain, said it straight, real. And you could tell that as she was telling this truth, you got one of the security guys. You're going to see the security guy who tried to snatch the microphone out of her hand, and they're trying to calm her down because she's saying too much goddamn truth. It's a damn shame when your own people don't even want you to speak truth. And the two aldermen on the stage are trying to shut her down. Oh, no. Oh, Doris, come on, Doris. No, she told it just like it is. And she got a story to tell, folks, that's going to blow you all away about what she's experiencing since the migrants have been there. This is real stuff on the ground. So when people come in here talking about, oh, no, the migrants are being very respectful. Okay, but there are some of them that are doing things that's making black folks in Chicago uncomfortable around their own damn property that they pay taxes on. They don't pay no damn taxes.
Is power.
That's right. Information is power. They pay taxes and they not paying no taxes. This is fair use, ladies and gentlemen. For the purpose of educating, parody, critical analysis, news reporting, here it is.
Question, can you mention your name so the folks know who's in the room?
My name is Doris Lewis. Well, I want to begin by saying I am absolutely livid. And you all are so hypocritical. I live right across the street from that hotel. Back in the spring when they were over there, they would be on our lawn, on our benches. I walk all the time. I'm walking around the building. What do I walk upon? 3 men urinating on the building. You call the police, you do not come. You run, you do not come. I have never been afraid as I am now because I walk a lot, I walk around my building. I am afraid. I don't want them there. Take them someplace else or send them back to Venezuela. I don't care where they go.
Now, the significance of what she said, Doris said, is that the police and these politicians are acting like, oh, we got everything under control over here. The police are doing A, B, and C. She's saying it's bullshit. He's saying that you guys are hypocrites because I live across from the hotel where, you remember, they had them in the hotel, and I guess they're thinking about putting them in another hotel. She says she lived in that community, and she would see them pissing on buildings, sitting on things, squatting on areas, all sort of things that was making her feel uncomfortable. Once again, Doris puts it where the goats can get it.
You call the police, you do not come. You run.
That's key. She says that she calls the police and they never come. But yet we know the police in Chicago don't have no problem with hunting down black men. You saw what they did to Sean McDonald. They shot him in the streets like an animal. They got no problem coming and showing up and showing out when they want to put hands on black folks in Chicago. But these folks out there doing stuff, like the sister said, I call you and you never show up. The people in the audience are validating what Doris is saying. So this is people that live there. The hell with the news reports. I mean, this is Chicago News Channel, but it's the people talking. Not no puppets here.
I walk all the time. I'm walking around the building. What do I walk upon? 3 men urinating on the building.
Oh my
you
God.
Call the police, you do not come. You run, you do not come. I have never been afraid as I am now because I walk a lot, I walk around my building. I am afraid. I don't want them there. Take them someplace else or send them back to Venezuela. I don't care where they go. This is wrong. You got 73% of the people homeless in this city are black people. What have you done for them? What are you doing for the thousands of black children who are not in school? Nothing. Nothing. And let me make it, we are not immigrants.
Boom, 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 explosive.
Tell the truth.
God damn. She said, what are you doing for black children that are struggling out here? She says, we need the damn asylum. We've been here. We built this country. I'm going to play it again. Doris is on fire. We're on fire. You're on fire in the chat room. That's right, Faith. It pissed me off when I first observed and viewed, this footage before I presented to you all. It bothered me something real bad. Real bad. But let's hear it. It needs to be heard again. There's more that she says too. Just check this out.
As I am now, because I walk a lot, I walk around my building. I am afraid. I don't want them there. Take them someplace else or send them back to Venezuela. I don't care where they go. This is wrong. You got 73% of the people homeless in this city are black people. What have you done for them?
Boom! Explosive.
Tell the truth.
If 73% of the homeless in Chicago are black, where was all this $328 million that was advocated to the migrants? Why wasn't that money being given to black folks? Why weren't homeless black folks put in these fancy hotels? Why weren't there shelters and buildings that Chicago wasn't using renovated to be used as a shelter for homeless black people who make up 73%, as the sister says? She lives there, so we got to believe what she's saying because she lives there. The 73% of the homeless in Chicago are made up of black people. What the hell is really going on in Chicago? Since the Harold Washington days, they got a new man in charge. That's Brandon Johnson, who keeps telling black folks, you got to have some love and compassion. Hell no. Where is the love and compassion for black people, Brandon Johnson? Now, this problem didn't start with Brandon Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. This problem was with Mayor Lightfoot. She also was part of the problem. And Ron Emanuel, as I talked about before, he's responsible for closing down a lot of those schools, those buildings that they want to now use for the migrants, which black people were told that some of these buildings would be refurbished for a new school or maybe a new community center for the community, for which it's supposed to serve the population. Let's get back to Doris. She's on fire. And what's going on, Golden Melanin?
What are you doing for the thousands of black children who are not in school? Nothing. Nothing. And let me make it, we are not immigrants. I am a descendant of enslaved Africans who built this damn country. And they are not doing fair by black people in this city or in this country, period. We're tired of this. We are the asylum seekers. We should be seeking because you're running us off the land. Everywhere there's a large collection of black people.
Come on.
See, look at that. Everybody, did you see the bullshit? You see the token, they call them Altamans or something like that in Chicago. You see, he says, oh, come on. He didn't want her to keep talking because her conversation was too much truth. What's going on, Loco Tina 143? She does not own the building or streets. Oh, my God. No. She said, see, this is where you're wrong, Tina. She said that the migrants were pissing and doing all sort of things in the neighborhood that she lived in. And she lived across the street from the hotel that they were in. And she saw various things going on. And she also said that she did not feel safe because she likes to walk around her neighborhood and walk in the area. And because of the influx, it has made her uncomfortable. And I'm keeping it real. Black people in America, black people in Chicago who pay taxes in Chicago, who are homeless at the tune of 73%, and this city hasn't done a damn thing for. We are not responsible, or should we be, for the folks that's trying to come over here and claim asylum. That's not our problem. Because where are all these so-called other ethnic groups that have stood up for black people and say, hey, black people are homeless at 73% in Chicago. In New York, black people are homeless at around 50-something% in New York. I don't see these other ethnic groups supporting us and saying and going to bat for us and saying, hey, this is terrible. Give them a hotel. Give them some damn asylum too. Give them some damn money. Give them a shelter. Give them something. You don't see that. The Biden administration, the Democratic administration is not using any federal money. I don't see any of these so-called other ethnic groups supporting black people in Florida who are having our history taken out of the schools and out of the state by Ron DeSantis' evil ass. Where's all the Latinx people in Florida? Where's all that? You know why you don't hear anything from those folks? Because it ain't their history that he's attacking. It's black people's history that were born here in this country, on this soil, foundational to this country, laid the foundation before many of you even got over here. I don't care how anybody feels about that. I'm going to say what's the truth.
Tell the truth.
Go on, Doris. Keep telling us truth. Keep telling the truth.
We got the message, Doris. We got the message. All right, we got
the guy to the right. I guess he doing security for these cowardly aldermen. He took the microphone, as you could see earlier, out of her hand. And remember, we don't work for politicians. These politicians work for us. So actually, Doris is his boss. So damn it, if she wants to hold that microphone and say what needs to be said, she has every right to do so, because we don't work for these politicians act like we work for them. We don't work for them. They work for us. Her tax dollars go to pay his salary. So you're basically listening to, so when these black folks are making their grievances, you're listening to the board that governs your ass. Because without these people in this audience voting for you, you don't stay in office. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Joe Biden don't get the black vote, he's finished too in this upcoming election. And we already see that black people are peeling away from the Joe Biden administration, which, by the way, has done nothing to help Brandon Johnson in Chicago from a federal point of view with this issue. Or are they helping New York? Adams has even complained about it, the mayor of New York. This is under a Democratic administration, not a Republican administration. And by the way, both of these parties ain't worth a bag of fries. The Republicans screw you with Vaseline. And let me correct that. The Republicans screw you without Vaseline and ask you, do you like it? And the Democrats screw you with Vaseline and say, was it good? Back to it, Doris. Back to it.
Who's up next? Hold on. Can we get a little bit more order in the room, please?
You're out of order. You're out of order.
I disagree.
You're not representing. You black politician. You're not representing us. You're representing.
Boom. Doris said something very powerful
Tell
here, folks.
the truth.
She said, you black politicians don't represent us. You represent everybody else. If you all feel the same way in the chat room, let's take a vote by putting, if you believe that this is true what Doris just said, put a 7 in the chat room. Put a 7 in the chat room. Now, it's not all. Now, a lot of black politicians who act like they represent us, a lot of times they represent other interests. So they actually represent other interests, but not really us. They're simply black in color, and they talk a good game when they get on news shows about black this and black that, black issues sometimes here and there. But the question is, do they really represent us, and are they really doing the things that we as black citizens want them to do, since they do work for us? What is your thoughts about that? If you think they really work for us, if you think they really are doing something for us, or no, if you don't think that they're doing something for us, put a 7 in the chat room. If you think they are doing something for us, put an 8 in the chat room. It's up to you, folks. It's up to you. We got Bronze Flat Power God in the house. Thank you for being here, brother. And for the most part, everybody, HH says 7. Another CG says 7. Oh, we got Reckless is in the house. What's going on, brother Reckless? He says, you so late to the game. It's really sad. You brought the radical hook like sinker, and how it is too late. They never have worked for you. No. They never have. Now, Reckless, don't get me wrong here now, brother. I hope that we're on the same page. No. The Democratic Party hasn't done anything tangible for us. You're absolutely right. And I'm not going to be dumb enough to sit up here, Reckless, and say that this problem in Chicago is not a manifestation of Democratic policies. And a Joe Biden administration is not doing anything about it to help. And both these mayors have been looking for federal help. Mayor Adams, Mayor Brandon Johnson. And Reckless, you have to agree with me, brother, that this problem in Chicago was not manifested by black people who are not politicians, because you know that these sanctuary cities were never put on a ballot for people to vote. I live in California. We are a sanctuary state, yet I have never voted for such a thing. And you know why they did this? Because they know that if they put it on the ballot, we'll vote against it. And they know the Democrats in particular are looking for votes. They're hoping that these people become citizens, and then they vote, and they can get the votes from these people that they have somehow helped at the expense of our black asses. And that's the truth.
Tell the truth.
That's the truth. Larry, Anything Goes LLC says $20 super chat. Thank you, brother.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Thank you for that super chat, brother.
Thank you for the super chat.
He says they represent their corporations and D and R party interests, not ours. Facts. I give you a clap on that. I give you a clap on that. That is the facts. And like I've said this a bunch of times, I'm not a fan of either one of these political parties, ladies and gentlemen. I think we ultimately get screwed in the end because these politicians are only typically loyal to themselves, loyal to the corporations. They do what corporations want. Hell, I think the corporations run this country. Pretty obvious that they run this country because they run the politicians. The politicians go to corporations to get money when they're running to be reelected. Wait, the money is coming from corporations, so we know who interests that they're really going to serve, and it ain't ours. Let's see. Reckless gave me a $5 super chat. He says, Black people historically don't look at the results of policies. These people policies, I agree with. Okay. Yeah, Reckless. No, we on the same page, Reckless. Thank you for that super chat. I want to put what you put up there on the screen for all to see, my good brother. Yeah, Reckless, we on the same page, brother. Me and you good. We had a little clash before, brother, but I ain't tripping off at all of that, man. We good, brother. We good. Me and you good. Okay? We on the same page. We fail to look at the historical effects of it. You know why? I'm about to put something up that's going to make people either mad or make people surprised. Remember earlier in the show, I put the picture of who? Harold Washington, who arguably is the best mayor that Chicago has ever seen, specifically for Black folks, but just overall, okay? But remember, this sanctuary city thing is not new because back in 1984, and I hate to bring this up, but it's got to be where historically correct. Chicago history as self-proclaimed sanctuary city dates back to 1985. So when Reckless talks about the historical effects of policies, he's absolutely right. Now, this wasn't even a policy, but Harold Washington took it upon himself to do this. Back in 1985, when the mayor, Harold Washington, issued an executive order prohibiting the city employees from enforcing federal immigration laws. But since that time, the term sanctuary city and more recently welcoming cities have evolved beyond law enforcement implications. So Harold Washington at one point in time told the workers in the city, do not follow the federal laws, meaning to keep these people out of Chicago who were not citizens, that were illegals or that were migrants, right? But in fact, there were federal laws that said that they technically, if he would have enforced them, those folks would have been moved out of there. But Harold Washington, a Democrat himself, that's how he felt at that time. Now, I don't agree with his decision. It doesn't take away from the great things he did do for Black folks in Chicago, but that's an area that I have some issue with. Just reality. And of course, we know what old Biden is not doing anything for us. I'm keeping that straight up, 100 with y'all. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. I want to get to the final video today because, as I said in the opening of this video, that Black people, there are a group of Black people in Chicago who they got lawyers or a lawyer or lawyers, and they are going to sue the city of Chicago for this migrant situation because it violates certain laws. And I'm going to read to you what it violates. Let me see. It violates the, let me see. Okay, so according to the citizens of Chicago, they're suing the Democrats, the Democrat-run city in Chicago, because they're supposed to represent the people they vote for. Don't let the Democrats have their stupid convention. People are protesting, man. But it was something that I wanted to read. It was something that I wanted to read to you guys that I read before. There's more than 17,000 migrants that have arrived there in the Windy City since August 2020. They have spent $328 million on aid, which, once again, there's 73% of Black people that are homeless in the city of Chicago. They haven't spent that kind of money on the homeless Black people that were there from very day one in Chicago, right? What was the one? It was something about what there's something in the law that they're suing them over that they're not supposed to do. Nearly 30 bus loads of immigrants arrived in downtown Chicago just last week, and that number is only set to get worse. This was some time ago. Boy. So let me go ahead and go to the video because we're getting ready to get to conclusion. I really appreciate you all here. Let me let Doris finish what she was saying.
Can we bring it down so that Doris, we were respectful during your comments. Could you be respectful? Doris, come on. We all are angry. We all are angry. Can we have this conversation respectfully? We hear you. We hear you. Hold on a minute. Doris, come on. Doris, we understand. Doris, we understand. We understand, but can we make space for everybody else to talk? Can we please make space for everyone else to talk? There are a lot of opinions in the room.
Tell the truth.
All right. So Doris definitely wasn't having it. She was very upset. One of the aldermen was trying to get her to be quiet at that time. But I think she spoke a lot of truth in the very beginning of, she was angry. And she was angry primarily, what angered her is because she saw migrants near where she lives in her house pissing, on walls, and she felt uncomfortable about what was going on, that they're laying all over her property and all kind of stuff like that. And if you're experiencing that, you got every right to be angry when you are a property owner, whether you're a property owner, a renter. But the bottom line is these are citizens we're talking about, people who are citizens born here. They pay taxes, the whole 9 yards, and they put these politicians in office to work for them. Now, here is the video. Some of you might have seen this video, but this is the video in which they announced the idea of suing the city. And I hope this video will actually be the conclusion of today's program. I'll give my last word as it ends. I will bring up I'll try to talk to people at the end of this video and get some of your thoughts and bring up your comments. Here we go.
Let me make that very clear because people get it confused. We are, however, outraged with the government's response and our elected officials' blatant disregard to the local crisis Black families and children are facing now in our city. It is disingenuous and highly disrespectful to come into neighborhoods that have suffered decades of disinvestment, redlining, poverty, and violence to tell them you're taking resources away only to give it to another group of people that you allowed to cross the border illegally. How dare you put these poor people against us, especially because the very reason you claim they're here to seek asylum is the same reason and terror and injustice Black people face today. Chicago is working on an issue without addressing the current issue that it has with the communities that are suffering. And we're seeing resources fly out to help, but we're not getting that same type of support at the magnitude we're seeing now. And to expect us to foot the bill and hand over our already limited resources, public parks and school buildings that have been unjustly closed in the first place. Now you're putting a strain on our police officers and stations, obstructing their ability to do their jobs, serve our community, and our community to go into police stations to receive services. In addition, it's inhumane to welcome.
I want to say thank you and welcome to The Truth Rose with TY. Thank you for being here, my sister. Everybody in the chat room, from Empress Goddess to Dee Dee Taylor's been rocking with us all day, to 9 Canadian. Thank you for rocking with us. Golden Melanin. Laura, thank you for rocking with us. Keith, thank you for rocking with us today. Rocky 12. We got we got my man Party Music DJ. Make sure y'all check out his channel. That's a good brother right there. And hey, send me another email because I know you were gonna you made that other channel so that we can do some things together on the other channel, brother. I'm talking to Party Music DJ. Good to see you over here, my brother. And Faith Factor. Good to see you over here. Some of these folks got channels, so check them out. I think Reckless Ray, he got a channel too. Check everybody out. Write people's names down and check them out. See if they're your cup of tea. You know what I mean? Let's get back to it.
Some people only to have them sleeping on floors and buildings and in tents that cannot withstand the wind of Chicago.
It's a damn shame.
Brandon Johnson ran on the promise that he would listen to our community. And in the beginning of this crisis stated that he would not re-traumatize those communities that are still suffering from the impact of school closing, red line, and violence. We are here today demanding that the city of Chicago and Brandon Johnson stop disrupting park programs, taking away from our children and families that depend on those services. We want him to stop using public school buildings as housing because they're not zoned as such. And specifically for this building was promised to the community, and our children deserve a high school.
Boom. This is the key part right here. That's what she actually got to what I wanted to get to. That's the key. The key to their lawsuit is that they're putting the migrants in areas that were not zoned for that type of population. And then the school that's behind them was supposed to be zoned for the community to turn it into a community program or center. So their lawsuit is based on the fact that the public officials that they elected are not following proper policy to how the city is run when it comes to certain zoning, what belongs in certain areas. This is a damn shame.
A high school, we want to reopen this one because we do not have a neighborhood high school. That school over there is not a neighborhood.
So in this case, it's not a community center. They're going to reopen this. They want to reopen it as a high school because in this neighborhood, they don't have one.
Neighborhood school is a selective enrollment that actually restricts our neighborhood kids from going. So that's a violation of our civil rights, and we want this building. We pay taxes for it.
Facts.
We are also demanding a full independent audit of how our tax money is being spent.
That's right.
We still have a homeless crisis.
That's facts. They have every right to demand that. That is true. And they do have a homeless problem.
Black Americans have the highest rate of homelessness, including youth. We want to know how they're being housed, if they're being housed, what money is being spent on them. We need to know how money is being spent on our education system. Well, we now see that Chicago public schools and all city agencies are focusing on migrant children. Migrant children deserve to have equal access to education, and so does Black children who have historically been denied that right. This is an example of that. Building being closed when there's high school students all around here who have to travel far to go to school. My daughter travels 15 miles outside of her neighborhood to go to school. How dare the city of Chicago try to take this building, make her walk past the building that they're giving to people they're allowed to come here illegally, and have her go past a half-empty building on the corner that she can't go to school. And she is a symbol of majority of Black children in the city of Chicago that are being denied rights, that are not being seen in this crisis that has been engineered. Again, we're not here saying we're against individual people who cross this border. We're mad at our government for putting them against us. That's right. Because that is what's happening. That's right. Plain and simple.
This is crazy, y'all. Can y'all believe what we're hearing? This is crazy.
Tell the truth.
Peter said, can you review this video, Foreign Money in Our Politics to Divide Us 100%, a conservative moderator and a liberal talk to each other? I'll look into that, but that's not really anything new. Foreign money has always been in play in our government. You can look at the Chinese and the Japanese. They put money over here and buy American companies all the time. You have, I think there was either the Chinese, this was what was put out there a while back, that the Chinese brought some land that they were going to use, quote unquote, for farming, but they're going to spy on us. That they brought some land near a American military base that they were going to. So there's already foreign money that's all mixed in over here. I mean, I can look into that, what you're talking about, but it's been happening it's been happening for most of us were even born, because that's part of that's part of a capitalist system, right? You know, but let's get back to this video. This is crazy, y'all.
The residents of South Shore deserve a high quality high school. We deserve services. Our parks deserve to be open. We have present here people from Taylor Park. Taylor Park is located in the Robert Taylor community. We all know what happened with Robert Taylor, right? Thousands of Black Americans were displaced, and the city of Chicago has been threatening these poor families to take away their park. That's not fair. They have football teams, they have the cheerleading teams. Their kids are engaged socially. They need those services. Let's talk about the West Side. Last night, you guys saw the West Side. We were proud of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's happening is that it appears that Black communities in Chicago are the ones that are under siege. She said, what was it? Robert Taylor Park is under siege. That's the program. That's the one that they're suing over. That's the big one that they're suing over because that was promised to be a youth program over there in Chicago. So it seems like the West Side, the South Side, wherever Black people live in Chicago, that they're the ones being impacted the most by this situation. But no one's talking about Lincoln Park. Let's get back to what she was saying here. I appreciate all of you who are here. As we get close to the conclusion of the day's show, make sure you share this video on all your social media. Tell people about the channel. Let a friend know. Let a family member know. And we keep doing it like this every Sunday. I want to thank you again.
Tell the truth.
If no one can understand, their Black family can understand why they turned up in that meeting. Because it is still an injustice. It is an injustice. It's disingenuous. And it's not.
She's talking about the meeting that I just showed you all pieces of today. You see how I had to make this all go in order? Here we go.
Right, for these people to come into our communities when we are suffering now. Brandon Johnson, go on your word. You cannot be elected into this office and ignore the people who got you here. That's right. We're not playing with you. Say that again. So today, we're here to say we want justice. We want the city to be more transparent. We want you to stop blatantly throwing the migrants anywhere. Right. We don't want tents built in Roseland.
You hear somebody in the background saying, it's them damn. All right. Let's let it play itself completely out. It's almost there, folks. I appreciate your patience today.
That's right. We don't want our park programs being taken away. And we want the city to work with our community in a genuine manner. So today we have, like I said, we have people here who are going to
tell the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the time that we have, I'll pull up your comments and hear what you're saying. Let's go with my man Jonathan Kidd is in the house. He says, the West Side and South Sides of Chicago is finally working together. This is the first time. Right, because aren't those rival sides? You know, I know you've had the gangs in Chicago, you know, Black gangs. So those were South Side and West Side. They were kind of rivals. Is that correct, Jonathan Kidd? This, you know what? That's interesting that you bring that up because this issue, this one single issue could be a way to unify, as you're saying here, to unify Black people in neighborhoods that other Black people don't necessarily rock with, right? So out of this situation could come some form of unity, or at least we hope. But good point. Jonathan Kidd says, yes. Okay. Another CG says, another great show. As always, Information Man. Thank you, brother. Thank you. And make sure you check out, I always got to put these promos out there. Make sure you check out the Prime Sports Media. That's my sports channel. If you are interested in football, interested in what's happening with Coach Prime in Colorado, if you have an interest in that type of content, come on over to the channel. The channel's growing like wildflowers over there. I'm at 25,000 subs on that channel right now, and it's continuing to keep growing. So come on over and subscribe to the Prime Sports Media channel. I load up a lot of my content over there is loaded up as pre-produced content. Gets great views, and so that's a whole other world that I'm in over there. I guess I guess I'm becoming one of the big dogs in that particular arena of sports channels in that particular arena right now, because the channel is growing tremendously. So thank you, everybody, who have come over and supported that channel as well. Let's see. We got my man, G.A., Brother Frazier, in the house, and he says they're trying to replace our ethnicity. Right, brother. Yeah, I agree. I know people are going to sit up there and say, y'all sound radical. No, but this stuff has been in the works. H&A says unity is key. Yes, unity is key. Let's see what Brother Reckless is saying, Ray. He says they got no choice now. They will end up with cartels up there, and those, man, Ray, I have been saying that how many of these people, these migrants, how many of them, I mean, let's just be honest. There are some of them that are legitimately looking for asylum. Then there are some of them that are actually connected to the cartel and could be running a game, right? Then you got some that are criminals that have done things to women and children that are the police in their country are looking for them and they fled, right? Then you got some of them that might have escaped from the prison. It could be a variety of things that they are going to have to figure out. And this is why, until they properly screen these folks, you really can't have them running around in the community until you can determine who's a criminal and who's not a criminal. Because there has been some violent confrontations with the migrants in Chicago. There have been some things that have happened on the streets with them, with the weapons, and people complaining about them out there getting high and stuff like that. These are people that live there that have been saying this sort of stuff. Let me see what Peter is saying here. Title, Reaction to Israel War, the Tim Pool and Jimmy Dean Dore Show PD podcast, episode 3. Okay. I know who Jimmy Dore is. He's kind of a weird dude, but I know what he's about. Let me see. Golden Melanin says, remind me of when Castro sent over Cuba. Yep, Cubans, and many of them were criminals. That's so true. I'm not saying that the migrants in New York or in Chicago are all criminals. Don't get me wrong. But certainly there are some of them that are, and they need to be screened out. If this government plans to let these people stay here, they need to be completely screened out. Because if we were in another country, they would definitely screen our asses. What's going on, Khan? Khan left this. Yep, big cartel trafficking, human trafficking, drug trafficking, fentanyl, the Chinese trade. Yeah, right. But remember, back in the opium wars, it was the United States that kind of screwed China up with all that opium. I think China's just trying to pay us back for what we did to them, or what this country did to them back in those days. You know, what goes around comes around, you know.
Tell the truth.
But if Americans didn't have such a drug addicted habit, this probably wouldn't be we have a drug addicted country. Let's just keep it real. That's why this stuff flourishes like it does. 9 Canada says, I think they've been screened a bit before they are sheltered in South United States. Okay. Then they get invited on a free bus trip being told they're okay. Right. I get what you're saying. That might be true. You know, let's be honest. Alan Christian just sent me a beautiful super chat. Thank you for that.
You are listening to information.
Thank you for the super chat.
What I'm going to do for everybody that super chatted me, I think Ruthless super chatted me. My man, I'm going to play this. This is for you guys. Just a short little super chat celebration. Here we go.
Tell them run it off. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it off. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it off. 9 out of 10, rub through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to
tell the truth.
Tell the truth. All right, let's get back to the to the comment section of the presentation today. And we've got Keep It. What's going on, Keeps? He says, build the wall, deport them all in my motto. And then, what's going on? Lauren gave me, sister, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. I appreciate you a lot.
Thank you for the super chat.
That's for you. Jasmine Virgo, where have you been? Good to see you over here, sister. Thank you for coming over. Much respect to you. And of course, we need reparations. Let me see who else we have in the chat here. I want to thank everybody. Glenn Simpson, thank you for coming over and participating in the chat room. Empress Goddess says this: the corporations flood. All right, let me put this. I want to put this back in here and read this. Why am I? Here we go. Here we go. That's more like it. Empress Goddess, and check out her channel, by the way. Corporations flood the streets with drugs. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Tell the truth.
They involved TYMC McKitchen. That was Britain. Yeah, it was okay. It was the British, but guess what? It was Great British that pushed that opium. But guess what? If you do further research, the United States played a role in it too. Remember, Great Britain and the United States are at the hip with each other. Just because there was a Revolutionary War, both countries are at the hip with each other, believe it or not. Believe it or not. The United States had a hand in that. Why you think the Chinese are sending all that fentanyl over here? They trying to get revenge on us, and they know that America is a country of addicts. Now, that sounds sad what I'm saying, but
tell the truth.
It's true. Everybody in the world sends their drugs here because America is the biggest market. And I can boldly say to you in this camera that America is a country of addicts. Even when we try to get people off of drugs, we give them another drug to cover up the other drug that they were on. Like, what do they give? Methadone and all this other junk, right? So you never really get off a drug. You always stay stuck on a drug. Either the streets got you hooked on a drug or the pharmaceutical companies got you hooked on another drug. Allegedly. You know how YouTube is? Allegedly.
Tell the truth.
Allegedly. Facts. Yeah, facts. That was facts what Golden Goddess did, what she put out, what Empress Goddess put out. That was facts. Let me see. Ruby W says the Chinese do believe in revenge. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The Chinese, look, you guys have all read the book of The Art of War that the Japanese put out. The Chinese and the Japanese and other Asian cultures, they don't do stuff just to do it by mistake. They do stuff with a goal in mind. So the way you destroy America is that you don't have to go to war with America with your tanks and your weapons. All you got to do is make drug addicts of Americans. Destroy us from the inside out. And that Trojan horse is that drug to mess up American citizens. Get us all drugged out. Allegedly. They use strategy, man, without even having to pop a gun. Let me see here. We got Joanne Suing. What's going on? He says those illegals was placed in black folks' communities purposely. Right. I agree with you. Are you from Chicago, brother? The Democrats told blacks that had to work with these undocumented. Right. And remember what they did to the Haitians. I talked about that earlier in the show. When the Haitians came over at the thousands, they rounded them all up within a week, sent them right back to Haiti, no questions asked. And all these other ethnic groups that claim to be working in the behalf of immigrants, none of them come out and do a damn thing for the Haitians. You didn't hear a word from them. But then when it comes to their people, they want black people to sacrifice ourselves as well. but nobody gives a sacrifice for us. That's at least how it appears. How do you all think? If you agree with what I said, put a 7. What are your thoughts? Oh, we got Point Blank's Travel. I got to get back over to my man's channel. Point Blank's Travel, my good brother. He says, Information Man Show, salute, brother. What's up, everyone in the chat? Make sure you subscribe, everybody, to Point Blank's Travel immediately. I'm going to say it again. Make sure you subscribe to him immediately when you get opportunity. He's got a great channel. I got to get back over there and converse with him a lot more. Alicia is in Chicago. I wish one day, Alicia, I don't know how you feel about this, but one day I need to get you on a one-to-one with me, me and you or anybody else who wants to, because you live in Chicago and you might be seeing the exact things that I'm talking about, or you might be seeing something different. I don't know. But I think one day I would love to have you come up and tell us about what's really going on in Chicago since you actually live there. Let me put you on the screen right here. And I love your hair color and the make. You're looking good on that avatar picture. I got to be honest with you.
Tell the truth.
But no, for real, all jokes to the side, I would love to get your perspective, or anybody that's from Chicago. That's what I need to read. I need to try to get people that are from Chicago that can give us the same perspective that those people were talking about in those town hall meetings. I really want to hear people from Chicago that I can get on a panel and let them tell us like it is. Okay, some things just happened in New York recently. The citizens took to the streets to block buses of migrants they sent to New York. Yeah, that's been going on for quite some time. Let me see. That's been going on for some time. Black people want it free. They don't want a job. Sorry, but nothing is free. That's a lie, Loco Tina. That's not true. Black people have been working all our lives in this country. We first started off working in this country for free, right? When they enslaved us. We gave this country over, 200 years of free labor that we never got any reparations for. We have paid our taxes. Black people are some of the most patriotic people on this planet, in this country. We have fought in every war this country's ever had. Black people have worked all our lives. We were Jim Crowed. You forget about that. We were Jim Crowed in this country. They made Jim. We're the only people where they purposely made laws to stop us from being successful. We had Rosewood. They burned that down. We had Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. A thriving, economically thriving black community that was burnt down by white folks because of some lie that they accused a young black man of. Black people have fought in every war and have worked in every job in this country. Let me tell you something about unions you may not know. Why do you think you have unions in the first place? Because when black men came out of Reconstruction, out of slavery into Reconstruction, and start working, who do you think was the most skilled labor in this country? It was black men and women, because we were the ones doing all the domestic work and all the building in this country. So white men were afraid that black men would take their jobs, so they came up with it. So this is how unions got started, as a way to keep black men out of jobs, because black men were the most skilled. We were the blacksmiths. We were the ones building every damn thing on those plantations in this country. Don't give me this. Don't give me this talk about black people are lazy. What are you talking about? Now you're saying to me I'm lazy? I've been working all my life. I've been working since I was 13, 14 years old and have a profession. What are you talking about? We got black professionals. We got black blue collar folks. We got black people that are doing incredible things. And of course, we have black people that may not be doing so good, like any group has. So don't give me this stuff about, oh, we don't want to work. That's some bullshit. We were working in this country before many of you even got here. All that domestic work that Latinos are doing, the farming and all of that, who you think was in those fields before you got over here to work in those fields? Black folks were working in those damn fields, picking cotton, molasses, and getting whipped over our back. You guys come over here at your own choice, and you work in these fields and you get paid minimum wage, right? But our people worked in fields and got whipped on our back and got paid not even minimum wage. So dismiss me with that. You don't want to go to battle with me because my understanding and knowledge of the history is too damn strong. We wouldn't have a America if it wasn't for the Tuskegee. You wouldn't even be in this country if it wasn't for black folks who actually made it possible for immigration to be possible in this country by how the laws got changed during civil rights movement. And let me not miss you on this one. You wouldn't have an opportunity to be in this country living free if it wasn't for the Tuskegee Airmen, who are the main group of black pilots who are responsible for helping this country win World War II against Hitler. And if it wasn't for the Tuskegee Airmen doing what they did, this country might have lost that war. Oh, let me talk about the Triple Nickel, an all paratroop, black paratroop military group. So black people have given their love, their sweat and blood to this country and working for this country. Don't you ever come in my channel and say that black people are lazy and we don't want to work. You can always find any person in any group of any race that has lazy people, but that ain't the norm of our people. Please. We're smarter than that. We're better than that. Earl Owens, thank you, brother. Where have you been? See, I'm not into the stereotypes because that's why I said when it comes to the migrants, there's some of those migrants that are here legitimately for asylum. And then there's some of them that may not be legitimate. So I don't believe in the absolute. It's every group has people in their group, women and men, who are undesirable people, okay? That's everybody. White, black, Hispanic, it's everybody. Negative people is not just on one race. We all have it. But those people too often are used to represent all of us. There are some that are no good. I agree with you, that are just no good. Just no good. Let me get ready to get on out of here. I done gave a big ass Reverend sermon here. Let me see. Reckless says, now you just got Reckless Ray prepared for the worst, saving himself, hope for the best. Wow, Reckless, that's funny. Hey, let me see. This is crazy. These people come from other countries, oppression because of them people. Then they come here and look down on us. Well, I say that there's some people who look down on us and some people who don't. Like I said, there are some people who don't have no hate toward, they're not actively hating on us. And then there are people that are, right? I think for the most part, black people in Chicago are open to this situation. They just don't want their communities being overrun. They just don't want facilities being taken away that was promised to them. I don't know, folks. I got to get ready to get on out of here. Let me see what Earl Owens said. The 550th Paratroop Infantry. Yeah, that's the Triple Nickel. That's right. The Triple Nickel, the Trooper Nickel was an all-black airman unit of the United States Army during the World War. Yeah. So, I mean, we've contributed a lot to, every group has contributed to this country, but the difference with us is that we have been foundational to this country. And, that's how I feel about it. I mean, that's not how I feel about it. It's actually a fact. But let me get on out of here, everybody. I've done enough preaching today. I appreciate you all that are here. Chicago is the land of Oprah and Obama, too. Well, no. Hey, somebody correct me. Wasn't it a black man who actually founded Chicago? Who was? I can't think of his name. Wasn't it a brother who is the one who laid the foundation of Chicago? Somebody give that name in the chat room if that's true. Let me see. I love all people despite race, color, or religion, but things are getting very scary. I was robbed twice in 2 weeks. Crime's getting crazy. Are you talking about that you were robbed in Chicago? Yeah. Crime is bad. Crime was bad in Chicago even before the migrants got there. So I'm not going to just say, well, the migrants or the only blame of crime, because we know that crime was bad in Chicago prior to them getting there, but is it getting worse? Let me know. Let me see. Did anybody know that name? His name was Jean Baptiste Jean Baptiste was the guy who founded Chicago. That's a Haitian name. Was he Haitian? He must have been Haitian. Patience has just come over here. Jean Baptiste. Okay. I'm going to do some more research. I was aware of him, but just didn't remember the name. And I'm going to do some more research into exactly what it is that he did exactly. Salute to you, Point Blanks Travel. I appreciate you coming over again, brother. Much love to you and your family and your loved ones, people that you care about, and blessings to your channel and everything that you're trying to do with your success as a successful brother that you are. Let me see. Well, folks, I got to get out of here. I hate to go, but I got to go. We'll do this again next week. You know how it goes down. You know I'll go live next Sunday. I have not been able to load up those podcasts that I've been promising you guys about, and I got to do better. I got to get those podcasts loaded up when I'm not going live, just to continue pushing content on this channel. So everybody take care. And with that said, everybody, peace. I appreciate you all, everybody.
Information Man, please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Peace.
Tell the truth.
BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today. BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV. You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Everybody out there, make sure you check out Brother Street TV, George Makem, Urban Nerds Worldwide. He has a nonprofit organization where he is working with youth, getting them involved in STEM and science and getting them out there in the world to see other parts of the world. He is expanding the organization. Every time you buy merch, this is the logo on his merch, beautiful logo, beautiful hoodies and T-shirts and shirts. You are paying for beautiful paraphernalia that he has for the organization, which is also benefiting the organization with the things that he's doing with the kids. And you also get a tax write-off. He has a legitimate, non-profit, no jive, no BS. My man, George Makem, he will be back on this channel very soon to continue to promoting Urban Nerds Worldwide. If you put Urban Nerds Worldwide in there as a search engine, you will find the website. It's legitimate organization, and he's out of Philadelphia, PA. The brother's doing fantastic things.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
I'll see you on these YouTube streets.
You've been listening to the Information Man Show. Yeah.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.